This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Good morning and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen. Standing along my side here, as always, is Dave Riccio, and we are your KTAR car guys every single Saturday. Dave, about 11:05 and 30 seconds, I think, is when we show up here. So this show is about whatever you want it to be about related to your car, whether you've got a breakdown, something going wrong, that little funny noise that's happening, you think you need some repairs, maybe you want to buy a new car, sell the old car, picking one out for the kid that's graduating school, maybe need some advice. We can help you with any of that stuff. Tune in, check out the website, bumpertobumperradio.com, but most importantly, you can give us a call, 602-277-5827. It's 602-277-KTAR. And if you're not driving, you can also text us at 411-923. So we're getting hot, Dave. It's getting a little toasty out there these days. I was working in the shop a little bit this week, sweating some, man. 90.
Swamp, you were moist.
Yeah. I should have been wearing your shirt from last week. Moisture. So this is the time of year when we want to make sure the car's in shape. There's all kinds of things. We always need to make sure that the car's in good shape and reliable and safe because we want to get to the wedding on time and vacation. Cooling system failures are what we need to start really preventing now. We want to look at that system. And we don't have a crystal ball, but we have some. We can look into the future a bit by looking at your car and how it's been maintained.
It never fails this time of year. You get that sound of the tow truck. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
And they load the thing up, and you go ask the tow driver, what's going on with it? He goes, man, they cooked it. They overheated it. Yeah. How many times does it happen in your shop?
Dave, I think we do an engine or a head gasket minimum once a month. I think we did 3 head gaskets this month. And so, folks, a cooling system problem is the fastest way to ruin your car. The fastest way
right now
to let that thing overheat and just go away. I mean, you're going to melt it down. Chernobyl, right under the hood.
I had a friend call me here, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 weeks ago. She said, yeah, I'm driving. There was a little puddle of coolant under my car this morning, but I'm driving, and the gauge is kind of creeping up like 3/4, but then it goes back down, and she's talking me through this. And I'm like, Kathy, pull over. Let's tow the car in. She's like, no, wait, it's coming down again. It's coming down again. What you don't realize when that gauge is going up, if it's low on coolant or there's a leak, that gauge is not accurate.
Right.
It's only telling you half the story because it has to be in water to be accurate, or coolant. And if the coolant is missing, it's not so accurate.
Well, I was talking to a guy, same conversation, and I tell you what, I've defended lots of kids and lots of wives typically because the parent or the husband says, why aren't they looking at the gauge? Darn it, you could have saved me some money. That's not always the case because if you have, like Dave said, you have to have water or liquid to transfer that heat. And I made the analogy yesterday to the guy. I said, take a pan of water and put it on the stove. Get it really hot and stick your finger in it. Watch, it's going to hurt like hell. It's going to burn your finger. Now take the same pan, pour the water out, and stick your finger in the same spot. Not hot.
Don't feel nothing.
Don't feel nothing because there's nothing to transfer that heat to your finger. So the same thing will happen. If you have a hose blow or a radiator tank and you have a fast loss of coolant, that gauge may not go up and you could burn it out.
Well, even that, if you have a slow leak, maybe it's been leaking and you've kind of been ignoring it. Maybe just say, I need to get that in. It goes 1 week, becomes 2 weeks, becomes 3 weeks, a little. Pretty soon the system is not full enough to hit that sensor. Same thing. So you could be overheating your car and have no idea that you're overheating your car.
Well, and not only that, not only the symptom of overheating the overheating the car is a symptom, but you could be murdering your cooling system from the inside and not even know it, Dave. What's the other thing that happens? The cooling system is designed to be full. We have plastic, we have aluminum, we have rubber. Some cases we have a cast iron block. We've got all kinds of components in there. So when that gets low, what happens, Dave?
Well, and this is the thing. So the radiator tanks are made of plastic. People are like, plastic, that's cheap. I can't, the old timers, can't believe they're doing that. But the plastic is pretty effective. It's been good. It lightens things up. And if your radiator is just a little bit low, instead of there being water in contact with the plastic, there's steam in contact with the plastic. And what happens is that steam crystallizes that tank, and one day what happens is that thing just opens up, just a geyser, and it just splits wide open because it's been steamed and the plastic is no good. And so that's going to be your quick trip to the side of the road is when it opens up like that. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to be driving these cars. So if you ignore a little bit of a leak, well, it's not that much. And sometimes, Matt, we see these cars leaking a little bit, and we say, hey, you got this leak going on. Okay, let's keep an eye on it. Maybe not. Maybe not keep an eye, because that's gonna be a catastrophic breakdown 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now.
Well, and so in the same example of having it be a little bit low and basically boiling or steaming that top radiator tank, as you're ignoring this and as you're waiting a little bit until the leak gets worse, you're doing the damage. So now instead of replacing the water pump right now, maybe you wait 2 months for whatever reason, and maybe it's a legitimate reason. Maybe you don't have a choice and you have to wait, and that's okay if you have to do that. But what happens is you're silently killing the radiator and you didn't even know it. You're causing more damage by saving, or deferring something that maybe you don't have to go, don't have to do. But again, that's the number one way to really just ruin your car. So the thing coming up now, you're going to be coming in. The shops might tell you need a cooling system flush. And Dave and I, we talked a little bit before the show. You know what? What do you think? I mean, if you got a car that you bought new and it's got 75, even 80,000 miles on it, you're probably not having any cooling system problems.
Not yet.
But you're in the neighborhood of when we start maybe need to do a cooling system flush. Most of the manufacturers now have long life stuff. They're saying 100, 150,000 miles or 5 years. Well, you don't get 150,000 miles in 5 years. You get 75 maybe. So we're really recommending cutting those things. You do them in about half, Dave. It depends on the car. You've got to monitor.
Right.
Not everyone's the same, but the general recommendation.
Well, here's the deal. I say this all the time, is that bad service is worse than no service at all. And on the cooling system, I'm particular. If I got a Ford, I got a Ford bottle of coolant. And there's different versions of Ford coolant. If I've got a Chrysler, I've got different Chrysler fluid. There's differences among the brands, and they all use different food coloring. Some people like blue, some people like green, some manufacturers like brown. Actually, I don't think anyone has a brown one yet.
No.
But
well, there's a lot of brown ones running around. That's called rust.
Yeah, you don't want brown coolant. That's not good. So they all have different different colors of coolant. I get people come in all the time. Hey, I'm here because my transmission's leaking. We go look at it. Transmission's not leaking, but the radiator's leaking. Then another Toyota has red coolant in it because traditionally it was green for a gazillion years. It isn't green anymore. So, but when you're in the shop, if they're gonna flush out the coolant that comes in the car and then put in some multi-fit chameleon type coolant, I'm not a fan.
Nope.
I'm not a chemist. I'm not the guy, but the engineers said this is the coolant that we need for our car. This is our mix of metals that we wanted,
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends on what the metal makeups are, what if it's aluminum on a cast iron block, aluminum block with an aluminum head, radiator. I mean, there's so many different things that matter. And there's some people that say, oh, well, you need red coolant. The coolant color is not the indicator of the coolant necessarily. It used to be because Dexcool GM came out with a red coolant. That was everybody else had green.
Were they the first to break the mold from the green coolant?
Toyota had
pink.
Red too, but it was just the same as green. It was a different color. It was about a 30,000 mile antifreeze. Then Dexcool GM came out with a 100,000 mile antifreeze and turned it red. But red Toyota and red GM are two totally different things. Blue Honda is different than blue Volkswagen. It's different coolant. Now, there are some coolants, it's the same coolant, just different color. That's a manufacturing thing. But we still, I was looking at coolants the other day, making sure our inventory is correct. We have 8 different part numbers of coolant in stock.
It's not like the old days.
Yeah.
One bottle of coolant.
It's not, you got to have mayonnaise and Miracle Whip.
And when you order them too, and it's a pain in the neck when you order them too. It's like, well, we sell some. Ours is pre-mixed. You don't have to mix it. And then the next guy says, oh, ours you have to mix it. Just depending. So now it's a whole process. You got all these bottles all over the place trying to make coolant.
Yeah, and then the Dave thing. I think you do it at your shop, and I know at Virginia Auto Service we started doing it several years ago. We started to notice some of our regular customers. Gosh, we just flushed this cooling system, and it's starting to build up a little bit. Well, started researching, hey, you've got a swamp cooler. You know what it's like and what the hard water, you know what your glass showers look like. Well, we were putting that same water back in the car with the coolant. So now, we've got to use distilled water. We use a deionized water, a filtered, purified water to get all those dissolved solids out of it. You've got to have good, garbage in, garbage out. Same thing. You've got to put good coolant. You got to put good water. You've got to keep the system sealed. Cheap insurance is a good radiator cap with any cooling system repair.
A good radiator cap, not a generic. Some of these generic caps are like very much generic, And the thing here is if you're in the shop and they say, hey, you're kind of like looking like you need a radiator. If you can't afford a radiator right now, I'm pretty sure you don't want to afford a motor later.
Right.
So just move it up to the list of priorities if we can find a way to get that radiator fixed.
The other thing I'd like you to do, we're talking about this coolant. I know we go pretty fast sometimes. We cover some topics. I want you to go to the website and go to the podcast, and you can go listen to old shows. But last week we kind of touched on this because we talked about belts and hoses. And we see so many people overselling hoses, and particularly hoses we were talking about. They're taking a Honda or a Toyota with 75 or 80,000 miles and recommending radiator hoses. I'm telling you guys, it's the biggest waste of money. It doesn't need it yet.
Not only that, if you put on crummy hoses, the car's not as good as it was when it came in the shop.
Yeah, take an 80,000-mile Toyota, put on aftermarket crappy hoses, use a chameleon coolant, and don't change the radiator cap. You just did a disservice. You got to go throw your money out when you're driving through the
Bad service is worse than no service at all.
Yeah.
No service at all is not good. I'm just saying it's worse.
Yeah, exactly. So whether you got a question about your cooling system, your radiator, preventative maintenance before you go on vacation, and I'll tell you one thing, if you're making hotel reservations, make your car appointment. Get that thing checked out before you get ready to go to town. So whatever you want to talk about, 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. Dave and I are here to help you, and you can text us at 411-923, and we'll be right back.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do. Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions. Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers. If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere. Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus that carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee. Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A-plus rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
The Bunker to Bunker Golf Tournament season is back, and we invite you to join us for our very special season opening Cinco de Mayo event at the iconic Mountain Shadows Resort and Short Course. Saturday, May 5th, our famous two-man scramble returns to support Phoenix Children's Hospital with a fantastic day of breakfast, golf, and prizes, followed by a Cinco de Mayo pig roast party. There's even a bounce-back coupon for another golf round included, all for just $99. Space is limited, so grab your partner and register today at bunkergolf.com.
Governor Ducey tweets, "We have a deal."
Governor Ducey, Senate President Steve Yarborough, and House Speaker J.D. Messner announced the framework of a budget deal, including a 20% pay raise for teachers. The governor's office says the deal restores recession-era cuts to increase more funding for schools. This deal will still have to be put through the committee process and voted on by both chambers before it becomes law.
How long will the teacher walkout last? Check back in with KTAR News 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest on Arizona's classroom crisis on 92.3 FM and the KTAR News app.
I don't mind coming here, wasting all my time, 'cause when you're standing oh so near, I kind of lose my mind. It's not the perfume.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we are helping you with your car. All you got to do to get involved with the show is give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. I was just going to sit back and listen to music. I was like,
I know, it's a good
that
tune.
sounds so good, right?
Yeah.
So, anyhow, you can also text us at 411-923 if you're not the call-in type. So, talking a little bit about cooling system. You know, it's funny how people confuse cooling system, Matt, with air condition.
Yeah, they're two different things.
Two different things. Cooling system is what's cooling your engine is full of little minor explosions that happen all the time, and there's a lot of friction, and it gets hot. And you need a cooling system to keep that cool. And that's going to be radiators and water pump and hoses and coolant that you don't want to drink.
Fans.
Not good for you.
Yeah.
Electric fans for sure. And then your air condition utilizes, instead of liquid, I mean it is liquid at some point, but it utilizes gas. And so that's a different system altogether. And they
That's
work
a different
different.
kind of explosion.
It is, for sure. So anyway, give us a call, 602-277-5827. Let's go with Cody. He's got a 2004 Ford, it looks like maybe an F150. How can we help you, Cody? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, guys. Yeah, it's an F-150. Not a coolant question, but I do have a question.
Sure.
And I'm not a big car guy, so forgive me if I use the wrong terms or anything.
We aren't either, so you're in good company.
So the issue that I have is when I get to about anywhere from maybe 1,400 to like 2,100 RPMs, maybe like 40 to 50 miles an hour as I'm accelerating, I get what feels like a miss. And if I keep it in that RPM range or that mile per hour range, it'll go on as long as I keep it there. If I accelerate above it or decelerate below it, I don't feel it. If I accelerate through it, I don't feel it.
I see your symptom almost every week.
Yep.
It's like clockwork that symptom comes up. And what happens is once you get about that speed range, you know, the transmission finishes shifting. It locks up the torque converter, so everything's going through. Everything's connected 100%. And when the engine misfires, you feel it. And he used the word miss. That's exactly what's going on.
He nailed it. It's more of a load issue than a speed or anything else.
And the thing that happens with engines is when they're down there in that like 1,500, 1,800 RPM range, they're not making any power. They're just there to be efficient. And so they've been leaned way out. So you get these lean misfires that happen right there in that speed range. And if you tip in the throttle, just give it a little more gas, it probably gets a little bit worse, you know, is what I find. But that's a regular deal. I know that on the 5.4 liter, let me see, year-wise, 04, we're probably going to need some plugs, some coils in there.
Yeah.
Coil's a pretty common failure point on those things. So
yeah, you know, and one of the things along that same line, and we don't see it as much as we used to because a lot of these trucks have been through their cycle of hoses and stuff. But the common failure after these things got in that 60, 70,000 mile range, the heater hoses
leaking
were
right on the coils,
right above the right side of the passenger side bank of the engine, you know, the V of the engine. The coolant hoses were there, and they had these plastic connectors on them. They leak, they drip down, they get on top of the coils and cause a misfire. So
for sure, you hit the nail on the head. So it's going to need to be diagnosed because obviously we're not, you know, it's pretty common though. It's I would refer to it as a pattern failure.
And he doesn't have a check engine light on. At least he didn't say anything about a check engine light. We can still go in on Ford. They have what they call Mode 6 diagnosis. But that's the key. The guys at the Acme Auto Parts don't know how to do that. If it doesn't give them the exact address, they don't know how to find it. But with Mode 6 diagnosis, we can go in there and look at different areas of the car, and we can see a misfire. We can see the back-end information, basically. You know, if it takes 1,000 misfires over a certain period of time to turn that check engine light on, we can go see, you know what, it might have 990. It just hasn't reached the threshold yet.
You know what's funny about this one, Matt, is that they go to the shop, check engine lights on, they say, oh, it's misfiring. Well, it's not. There's no codes. Yeah. You know, that's that's what happens. It's not bad enough for the computer to pick up on it, and so that's where we see the issue where no code diagnosis is what separates.
You don't have to be in full cardiac arrest to be having a heart problem, right? I mean, that's kind of my comparison.
Well, you have a way with analogies.
I do, you know.
Thanks for the call, Cody. 602-277-5827. Let's stay on Ford. Let's go with Gene. He's got a 1996 Ford F250 and a 2016 Jeep. Hey, Gene, we may have time for one of those. What's going on with your Ford? Hey, Gene, you there?
Oh, we're going to put Gene. Oh, no, he's there.
We'll come back to Gene. Hey, Matt, I'm looking at one of these texts, and this person has a Hyundai, 2015 Hyundai Sonata, 30,000 mile service, 45,000 mile service, 60,000 mile service offered by the dealership, and they've been declining them. They've declined the 30, the 45, and I think they should do the 60, and the dealership is saying, hey, if you don't do these services, you're not going to have a warranty on this car. So, Matt, maybe you can clarify that for me, because I don't know if that sits well with me. It kind of gets stuck a little bit in my throat. And there's not a whole lot that goes on in a car at 30,000 miles. Some of these services are check this, check that, check the other, check this.
Well, there's going to be a couple different kinds of service, and we do it differently in our shop, too. I mean, everybody deviates from the owner's manual. The owner's manual is going to be your guideline on how to take care of the car. And then from there, you need to do the services. Those are the services that really count. Now, some of the dealerships go and they color coordinate. You have a blue service, a green service, a red service, something like that.
I'll go with the platinum.
And that's their good, better, best, bronze, whatever. And that's what they've made up to cover your car. And it's this great list of stuff. Like I see one at Toyota once, and we do this, and we do this, and we check this, and we change that, and we adjust this, and we adjust your parking brake, and we adjust your disc brake. Well, wait a minute. It doesn't have this filter. It doesn't have that. So it's this big list of stuff. So I don't know that you necessarily need to do what the dealer says. You need to do what the manufacturer says. There's also a thing called a Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act you could look up. And they can't tell you that you have to buy these parts for your car to maintain the warranty. There's laws and regulations about that. So sometimes I think it's a sales tactic. Carrie laughs sometimes. No, it is. Tell them, so say, show me my owner's manual, not this fancy little pamphlet that the dealership made up. Mm-hmm. And that's not to suggest that they're wrong. We're flushing the coolant before the manufacturer says to. We're changing the transmission fluid and filter before the manufacturer says to. And there's a lot of circumstances where that's absolutely appropriate.
But in order to maintain your warranty, that owner's manual, that's the base, what you need to do in order to stay in with the warranty. That's for sure.
And what we're seeing on some people with lease returns, they're getting dinged for not doing their maintenance. People, it's a lease, I'm just going to ignore it. No, they're inspecting to see if you did your maintenance, and they hit you on the backside when you turn it in. So you got to watch that too.
For sure. And you know what? If you've got, you don't have to go back to the dealership to keep your warranties. People say, I got to, go back to the dealership to keep my warranty in effect. You don't have to, as long as they're servicing it meet the requirements of the manufacturer's warranty. So anyhow, when we come back, we're taking more phone calls at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic, if your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Having an accident is stressful. Dealing with the repair process shouldn't be. Hi, Leo Petrozzella for Campus Body Salon. The right to choose a repair facility is yours, not the insurance company's. We work with all insurance companies, but we work for you. Campus Body Salon, Bumper to Bumper Radio approved and independently family owned and operated since 1973. Check out our Cash for Your Crash program where we pay you 10% off of your repair up to $1,000. Campus Body Salon, the best care in collision repair.
Hi, I'm Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission. Well, you may have come to know us for being a transmission expert. What you may not know is that our customers regularly ask us why we don't perform repairs to the rest of the vehicle. You guys are so great. Why work on just the transmission? Well, the requests became hard to ignore, and 3 years ago, we began to build an infrastructure to perform general automotive repair. We weren't going to do general repair if we couldn't be great at it. So in 2013, we began the soft opening of Tri-City Auto Repair on Smith Road. We brought on ASE Master Technicians to work side by side with our Master Transmission Technicians. The combination of the best in both of these trades has created a synergy that allows us not only to fix your transmission, but to service and repair your whole car, and to do it well. Let's face it, the modern car has become so integrated. We believe all of our expert knowledge puts us ahead of the curve. Find us at TriCityTransmission.com or TempeAutoRepairShop.com. That's TempeAutoRepairShop.com. bumpertobumperradio.com.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic. Now.
KTAR News Time, 11:30. I'm Mark Carlson. The race to Mars, full speed ahead with an upcoming launch to peer deep into the heart of Mars to detect Mars quakes, which would give us clues to how our planet was formed.
The first ever mission to study the heart of Mars, scheduled for May 5th. InSight will be the first interplanetary launch from the West Coast. The exploratory spacecraft hitching a ride on the Atlas V rocket, and timing is everything. The launch planned to take advantage when the Earth's orbit aligns with Mars' orbit. That means a more direct path and a quick 6-month trip. Think of it as a type of HOV lane in space. The launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base is set to light up the sky all the way to Northern California when it blasts off. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
White House records show embattled former Veterans Affairs nominee Ronnie Jackson was in 3 incidents in government vehicles in the last 5 years. None involved the use of alcohol, and he was not found at fault. The records also say the White House medical unit Jackson ran successfully passed regular controlled substance audits. The Associated Press reviewed the documents Friday. They were the result of an internal White House review of allegations raised against Jackson during his brief confirmation process. Jackson withdrew his nomination Thursday after allegations by current and former colleagues raised questions about his prescribing practices, leadership ability, and possible drunkenness on the job. Traffic and weather now. Here's Mike Daniels in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Well, thanks, Mark. Got a couple accidents in Mesa. One is 60 westbound Ellsworth Road. This crash off to the side, and a wreck on Mesa Drive just north of Southern. This report brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealers. It's a great time to get a new Toyota with low APR financing and special cashback offers. Visit your Valley Toyota dealers or valleytoyotadealers.com today. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
KTAR weather for the Valley. Today, sunny and warm, the high 97. Tonight, clear skies and a low of 69. It's 87 degrees currently in Carefree. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air. I'm Mark Carlson on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family-owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships. And oh yeah, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
The Bunker to Bunker Golf Tournament season is back, and we invite you to join us for our very special season opening Cinco de Mayo event at the iconic Mountain Shadows Resort and Short Course. Saturday, May 5th, our famous two-man scramble returns to support Phoenix Children's Hospital with a fantastic day of breakfast, golf, and prizes, followed by a Cinco de Mayo pig roast party. There's even a bounce-back coupon for another golf round included, all for just $99. Space is limited, so grab your partner and register today at bunkergolf.com.
Here's what Carrie from Tempe had to say about her experience with Good Works Auto Repair.
As soon as you realize, I need to get some work done on my car, I'm sure the thought occurs to you that you're about to get taken for a ride. I used to share the same sentiment and wondered if the shop was going to make something up and have me spending hundreds of dollars instead of $30 I was planning on for a simple oil change. This is one of the reasons I will only go to Good Works Auto Repair. Because I trust them. Putting trust in an auto shop didn't come easily. It's been built over several visits with them doing exactly what was needed, not coercing me into unnecessary work. Ask them for an oil change and a safety inspection, they do just that. No baloney, list of filters, belts, and whatchamacallits that need replacing on my new car. Thank you, Good Works Auto Repair, for being there for me when I need you.
Appreciate the kind words. It's always a pleasure. Glenn Hayward here. Come experience what award-winning auto service should be. Good Works Auto Repair in Tempe, or visit us at goodworksautorepair.com.
Fix it or forget it. This is the show that'll help you decide what to do with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen. We're here to help you with your car every Saturday from 11 to noon. And let me just do a little refresher on what Bumper to Bumper Radio is. It's a show where we kind of give you a little bit of insider information about auto repair, what takes place, so you can feel comfortable when you go to the auto repair shop and it doesn't sound like they're speaking wah, 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 $1,500. Because we don't want you to feel like that, because to me, wah, 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 $1,500 would be stressful. Do I really need the wah, 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 wah? Yes, you do. And we're going to tell you why when you do. So also, the other things behind Bumper to Bumper Radio is a whole network of shops. These are leaders in the industry who support this show because it's important, they feel, to get the word out to people how to take care of their cars. And these are excellent shops that Matt and I would carte blanche refer you to. Say, go here. They'll take good care of you. And there's shops all over the valley. On the West Valley, we've got Dave's Car Care. He's just one of the shops on the West Valley, but I want to mention Dave's Car Care. Matt, you and Dave are close friends. How long has he been over there?
I said 35 years just now, but I think we had this 35-year party a few years ago. I think Dave Denman is going on 38 years on the corner of 51st Avenue in Peoria. And that guy's like the freaking Energizer Bunny.
I know.
He doesn't let any grass grow under his feet. He is always looking at technology in a better way, something better to do, a better piece of equipment, a better way to help people.
Fantastic shop. And really, they've been around that long. That's almost like it's a neighborhood icon. In the East Valley, I want to mention Desert Car Care, Frank's place. They do a great job too. So these are just two shops across the valley that you can go to. If you got a shop you're going to and they're doing a great job for you, keep going there. No reason to change. But if you're one of those people, and I'll describe you, you're an orphan customer, so maybe you go, I got a coupon from this shop, so I'm going to go over there. And then, I got a coupon from this shop, so I'm going to go over there. You don't really have a home. Matt, you say you wouldn't take your kid to a different pediatrician every time you went to the doctor. Don't take your car to a different to a different shop every time. So if you don't have a home and you're in the East Valley and you're looking for a shop, check out Desert Car Care. You can find them right at bumpertobumperradio.com. And Matt, I'm looking at some of the texts here. This person has a 2010 Honda Pilot that is using about half a quart every 1,000 miles. Is that normal? Big question mark. Seems a little excessive.
Seems a little bit excessive, yes. It does a little bit. So you have to start wondering, where's the oil going? Half a quart may not be real easy to find. I mean, you might get there's some symptoms, right? I mean, you get a puff of smoke in the morning, you might have a valve stem seal leaking or something like that. If you don't really see any puff of smoke, maybe just the rings are a little dirty. I mean, there's some of that snake oil, the magic sauce you can get in there, some engine flush or they call it compression restore. Yeah, it's kind of restoring the compression because it's cleaning all the rings. You get carbon buildup and just soot and gook, for lack of a better word, gook.
And most manufacturers they'll have some sort of spec as far as what's normal rate of burn for an engine.
Yeah, and surprisingly, some manufacturers, boy, they're saying we're seeing newer cars with a lot of oil consumption and not very much time. As a matter of fact, Audi will turn on the oil light to say that the oil is low, even if the oil's not low. You know how they do it? They monitor the hood release. If you haven't opened your hood in a certain amount of miles, it's automatically going to tell you the oil's low.
Because they want you to open your hood
to check it because they're burning oil. It needs to be done.
Well, this person mentions they also have a Ford Explorer Sport with 402,000 miles on it. That one's barely broken in, and it doesn't use but a quart every 4,000 miles. So he asked, do newer cars burn more oil? And I think that tends to be the case a little bit. These motors are getting tighter tolerances, and they're really milking more out of them. They're wringing these things out for everything they can get efficiency-wise. Mm-hmm. So I would say there's a little bit of trend that way.
What I'd like the gentleman with the Honda Odyssey to do, and even the other one,
Pilot,
go talk to your shop and ask them if they sell BG products. BG products, you can search it. It's an oil company, and they sell fuel injection system cleaners, and it's only available in shops. It's a professional product, and it's good stuff. It works. You can try it out. Heck of it, no harm, no foul. It's like putting some mouthwash in or something. It may really help you.
You may have better breath. So anyhow, thanks so much for the text. Let's go with Gene. He's got a 1995 Ford F250. Are you there this time, Gene? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, I'm here.
What can we do for you?
Oh, okay. I have a 96 Ford F250 that's got an air conditioning noise. I bought a new pump for it, but the Freon nowadays just does not cool the truck down the way they used to. Is there a place to get the old Freon that you used to get out of a typical 16-ounce can?
No. That's R12, and you can't buy it anymore. You shouldn't. Oh, I accidentally hung up on him. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button. So hopefully we'll take a little pause for a second so Gene can catch up. But you can't buy R12. I think we can still buy it in the shop. It's really expensive. And, I mean, I got rid of our recycling equipment for that because it just broke down. There's so few and far between. But properly fixed, your 96 F250 will make cold air with R134. The system has just not been properly repaired or serviced.
Yeah, so you're better off getting the system right. We may have some more diagnostic work to see what's wrong with it.
Yeah. A lot of times people think they have an AC problem. There's a difference between having an air conditioner problem and a car that doesn't make cold air come out of the vents.
You get a vent dashboard problem.
You can have a perfectly working air conditioner, but if the blend door is allowing hot air from the heater to go across the air conditioner, well, there's your hot air. It's got nothing to do necessarily with the air conditioning system itself and its performance. So there's many steps in an air conditioning system oftentimes.
For sure. Thanks for the call. Let's go with John. He's got a 2000 Lexus RX 300. How can we help you, John? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Fantastic.
So the Lexus, what it's doing is when I accelerate around 15 to 25 miles per hour, I'm getting this shaking inside the car. And so it's an all-wheel drive. I was kind of leaning towards maybe the carrier bearings that are holding the drive shaft or something like that. But it only seems to happen when I accelerate hard.
Hard. I was going to say, when you say shaking, are you talking about like a wobble? Do you kind of feel it in your seat, or you feel it in the steering wheel, or the whole chassis of the car?
I'd say almost like a clunk. Like the car isn't wobbling side to side. It's very stable, but it's almost like a clunking in the floorboard. You feel it in your feet.
Couple things are coming to mind for me, Matt. And this, I think about motor mounts, but I think of those more 0 to 5 miles an hour. But, when it shifts, you get a little clunk out of it. The other thing that was coming to mind was, axle shafts. Axle shafts, when they're going bad, the CV joints will shake under acceleration. That came to mind for me. As far as carrier bearings, they don't make vibrations. So I wasn't sold on that deal.
I wasn't thinking that, but, what he said, interesting, you feel it in your feet. Makes me wonder if you're feeling that in the driver's footwell area. It made me wonder about really maybe a motor mount.
Yeah, the motor mounts. I tell you what, I have more people show up with motor mount problems, and they think all kinds of weird. I mean, they got all kinds of ideas in their mind what's wrong with their car, because when a motor mount goes bad, the car feels like a jalopy, like instantly.
And you might think it's the axle, but and the axle could be causing the problem. But if the motor mount's sagging down an inch, it's changing the rate of the angle on the axle, so of course the axle may bind.
Bad angle of the dangle.
Yeah, you straighten up the motor mount, and maybe the axle's not a problem anymore. So it's easy to get off track fixing cars. This is not easy. I worked a lot this week in the shop. I've been kind of a part timer for a little while, and really getting some focus back in the shop. I have a new appreciation for what happens out there every single day. I've been reminded this is tough business to figure out what's wrong with the cars, articulate it, fix it right, do it in a timely manner. It's not easy.
This is a butometer problem. The guy driving the car. We have guys that are good at noises or vibrations. They have a good seat of the pants feel. They can jump in a car, they can drive it. You can and they may know right off the bat. Sometimes they may say, this one doesn't fit my memory, so I'm going to keep driving. I'm going to try different things until I get what's right. The motor mount thing, one of the good ways to test that out, put the car in gear, put it in drive, foot on the brake, and just rev it up a little bit. And you want to see if there's kind of two sensations, a pick up and a come back down, because you will. And if you had the hood open, you'd see the motor pop up and then pop back down.
When you let off the gas, yeah.
For sure. And then you can do it in reverse also, because you're going to rotate the motor the other way. So anyhow, when we come back, we're taking calls from Ray, Todd, and Steven, and maybe time for one more at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Having an accident is stressful. Dealing with the repair process shouldn't be. Hi, Leo Petrozella for Campus Body Salon. We've taken the stress out of collision repair since 1973, and here's a couple of tips to de-stress your repair. Make your own choice. Some insurance companies try to convince you that you must use their approved shop for your repair. Not true. Arizona state law allows you to choose the facility that's right for you. Beware of the cheapest estimate. Typically, it's the one from the insurance company cutting corners to trim costs or focusing on appearance only. At Campus Body Salon, appearance is important, but structural integrity and safety are even more critical. Campus Body Salon, independent, family-owned and operated, and bumper-to-bumper radio approved. Check out our Cash for Your Crash program, where we pay you 10% off of your repair up to $1,000. Campus Body Salon, the best care in collision repair.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
That's our closing line, Pops.
I know, Jeff. Just reinforcing that we're full-service auto repair.
At Kurt's Auto Repair, we do it all, including diesel. We have the passion, training, equipment, and expertise for diesel. Our techs are ASE certified for diesel and advanced diesel diagnostics. Toy hauling, horse trailering, off-roading, or work trucking, we've got you covered.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's. Check us out at mycarhurts.com.
Whether you're a lifelong dirt road driving, tackle box toting, weekend warrior, or an outdoor lifestyle rookie, from the desert to the mountains of our great state, Mike Russell has the outdoors in Arizona covered. This afternoon at 1 with Get Outdoors. Only on KTAR News 92.3 FM and streaming live on the KTAR News app.
Based off the music choices, Matt, you could guess the age of our producer.
Yeah, no, this is a good tune though. This is one of my faves, you know. And what's funny is there was a text message that said the Sultans of Swing, good choice. So maybe Rosie played this song going out too. But yeah, this is a good one. This sounds really good in my backyard stereo, man. It really it's good. It's a good tune to throw back a cocktail with and kick back by the pool.
A couple beer buzz on an empty stomach. Yeah, that's right.
Oh boy, Dave, we love the phone calls. We may have to do a lightning round of phone calls.
All right, well, let's get right to Steve.
We do have a little bit longer.
Easy, Nitro.
We got some time there. Pump the brakes a little. Pump the brakes just a teeny weeny bit.
I'm thinking line 5. Steve with the 2013 Nissan Altima. He's got a transmission question.
Yeah, and he's got
him and every other Nissan.
He's got a sweaty ear too. 23 minutes. Steven, what's up, dude?
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
So I got a 2013 Nissan Altima, and it has the CVT transmission.
Love those.
And my understanding is that a lot of them had problems in the past, and I was wondering if they recommend a transmission cooler on it to just avoid any future problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that on the Rogues, especially, because a little heavier vehicle, that there is literally a factory cooler that you can buy from Nissan. And so there is bulletins from Nissan about adding coolers to these vehicles. And sometimes under warranty, you'll go in with a CVT problem, and the first thing they'll do is add a cooler. And I notice they really do like to overheat on a long drive. So when you drive from here to San Diego, it's going to overheat on you. And what happens is you end up pulling over, let the car cool down for 30 minutes, and then go drive it some more. So absolutely, I would recommend putting a cooler on it. Some of them are harder to do because they don't actually run lines over to the radiator. So you have to get real creative. And that's what comes in that Nissan kit, but they want $1 gazillion for it. So we found other ways to do it at Tri-City because I don't want to call people with a ridiculous price for a stinking cooler.
Now, are you seeing – we don't see a lot of CVT problems, but we happen to own a Nissan at the shop. One of our shop cars is a Nissan Cube. CVT. I drove it the other day. That's Tim's car that he drives. I think it's touching 100,000 miles. It's going to blow up Monday now because I'm saying it.
Right.
But we haven't had a problem with it. But the other thing that we've done is we have changed that transmission fluid 3 or 4 times already. I think we've been doing it 25,000 miles. When's the first recommendation? 60 or 100?
I don't know. I'd do them every 30.
Yeah.
CVT transmission every 30, and there's nothing but the Nissan fluid that came in it. Now, I think there's 3 versions of Nissan CVT fluid, NS1, NS2, NS3. So and it's made of polonium carbide because it's really expensive. But that's what you got to use in it. But it's better that than buying a transmission for sure. So you need to get a cooler for that thing, Steve. Not a bad idea. Let's go with Todd, 2017 Toyota Tacoma. How can we help you, Todd? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, it's kind of ironic that I listened to your radio for the first time because I'm having issues with my truck. I was up camping up on the rim, and all of a sudden the truck started to feel like a transmission was slipping a little bit. And a check engine light came on, and it says on the dashboard track off. And now I'm noticing that the cruise control is not working either. So it's a strange thing. I'm halfway home from Payson. I'm hoping I can make it home. Maybe you can tell me what's going on.
How many miles are on that 2017 Tacoma? It can't hardly have 30,000 miles on it.
It's only got 17,000 miles on it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's back up, and I'll tell you. Well, first off, the car. The good news is probably it's under warranty at the dealership, so I'm sure.
Unless you stole it, they're not going to honor your warranty,
right? Or
yeah, if I can get home and get to the Toyota, it's fully covered.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to tell you something about the track light and all that stuff for everybody else that drives a Toyota and the cruise control. You have one problem. When the check engine light comes on, that means the engine is not performing well. The computer has detected something that's going to affect the emissions. And clearly the engine's not running right, whether you can feel that or not. So part of the I have a Tundra, a 2010 Tundra, but part of the strategy in there is the driver stability control, traction control, and the safety systems on that car. So if they can't guarantee the running performance of the engine, they can't guarantee that the traction control and all the other components around that driver stability are going to work. So that's why those lights come on. The traction, and they're not going to allow you to use a cruise control. They're not going to allow the driver stability. They're not going to guarantee that if you get into a swerve or to a slide that it's going to help you recover the vehicle. So that's why all those illuminate. But it really goes back to this one problem. And I don't care if it's the oxygen, if you've got an older one, I don't care if it's an oxygen sensor or you left the gas cap off and caused the check engine light to come on. All those lights are still going to come on.
You get the whole Christmas tree.
Yep.
It is going to be something super minor.
Yep.
I could almost guarantee.
Yeah.
So anyhow, thanks for the call. Let's go with Ray, 2014 Murano. He's probably got a transmission question. I'm just guessing. Hey, Ray, welcome to Bumper Radio. Can we help you with your transmission?
Good guess, guys. Good guess. So we're on our way to California, going over the hills. It basically kind of downshifted almost.
Mm-hmm.
And got to California, and then on the way back, we kind of just, I would ride it to about 2.5 RPMs, and then just to kind of get over the hill. Got back here, and then went to the Nissan dealer. The check engine light turned off because it would still drive perfectly fine at lower speeds, but at around 70 and going over the hill, that's when it kind of downshifted. So took it to the dealership. They changed the transmission fluid, and it started working fine. Going over the hills was no problem. But now, currently, it's starting to do it at slightly lower speeds. I mean, I would say like first or second, third gear maybe. Just getting off a red light, it kind of stays at a high RPM, and then it starts to shift over to the next gear. So I don't know if it's, again, still the same issue, even though we just got a transmission fluid flush.
Well, I didn't hear that first part. Is it the same issue, even though I just had the transmission fluid flush?
Well, he had the problem going to California. Remember the last caller? Right. I said it's usually a problem when they go to San Diego. The car downshifts or whatever. It's gonna make it go slower, so the transmission can cool down. Is basically what it's doing. But what's happening? It could be starting to slip. Those CVTs got to be diagnosed. Someone's got to diagnose it and see what's going on with it. For sure. The fluid change may have helped. It may have been a little bit of a placebo thing too. If we're starting to have a transmission issue. But I do think of those CVTs, they overheat on the road trips, especially when you go over to San Diego. Maybe you load some stuff in the car, a couple of surfboards, a couple of boogie boards, a couple of dogs, and the family, too, if you want to bring them.
Well, what I was noticing he said, though, is he kept talking about when it shifts. And it's this CVT, you're not feeling it shift. So
they do. The late model CVTs, they give you an artificial shift feel.
I remember that. They built something in just to make you think.
Yeah, they build in a stutter. you're like, oh yeah, and they actually drive a lot better than they used to, because to me when they first came out, they were annoying the way they worked.
I had this girlfriend in high school once.
Seriously?
Once. She's so annoying. For many reasons, but automatic transmission car. Every time it would shift, she'd shake the shifter like she was driving a stick shift. I'm like, what are you doing? God, you're annoying. Couldn't handle it anymore. Had to go.
Didn't work out.
No, that will.
It's a good thing that Edith came around.
Yeah, big time.
For
Saved
sure.
me.
Well, Ray, I think there's still some more diagnostic work that needs to happen on your Murano. You can go to bumpertobumperradio.com if you're looking for a good shop to do that, and you've been going to the dealer. That too works. We go to David, 2012 Ford Focus. How can we help you, David? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Oh, hi guys. Thanks for taking my call. I'm just calling because about the 2012 Ford Focus for my daughter, and I'm driving it around for a little bit before I give it back to her. And I took it in for an oil change, and I said, hey, will you just take a look at it? And they looked up a recall on the transmission for the power shift transmission that they have for a few models of the Fiesta and the Focus. And so they said, hey, if you leave it here for a day or two, we can replace some things. And frankly, I can't tell you exactly everything they were going to replace, but I believe it was a clutch and some other parts. So my question is, I haven't really noticed anything major wrong with the transmission. I have noticed that it starts to shudder a little bit when I'm accelerating at high speeds, but not when I'm not accelerating. And so I thought, maybe I'll take it in, but I've just heard that sometimes when you take apart a transmission, sometimes it's not the same, and if I'm not having big problems with it, I wonder if it's premature to take it in yet.
For sure. Well, that Ford Focus has what they call it's a dual clutch transmission, so it's very much a manual transmission with electric motors and a computer that operate the manual transmission for you. And so there is, on those Ford Focuses, dual clutch transmissions are still relatively new. And I know on that one they have a lot of issues with the front seal on the transmission leaking, getting oil on the clutch, and that causes issues. And they had some issues with the computers. I know the computers have been changed out. And some of what you were kind of referring to is like, as far as this is not a typical transmission, so it is worth it to take it in, get it diagnosed. I would certainly take it to the dealer because they are extending the warranty on those things. So it's just say, hey, this is what's going on with my transmission, and they'd be happy to figure it out for you. They're going to get paid to do it. It's warranty work.
Don't let something go and extend because you're afraid of what might happen if somebody touches it. At least go find the problem, because what may happen, it may just be the opposite. Instead of having it fixed and then maybe have it not be just right, you may ignore it and then it ends up broken.
And then you're outside of warranty at that time.
And then you're spending more money.
Mm-hmm.
So
anyhow, so get it in. Hey, thanks, Adrian, for running the dials. We're glad you guys could join us. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, and competent shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. If you're in West Valley, today we talked about Dave's Car Care. In the East Valley, we talked about Desert Car Care. A lot of car care going on, so we'll see you next week.